Duncan Hames.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. As with Railtrack and the Hatfield rail tragedy, it's not a critical lesson from the explosion on this rig that companies who outsource environmental and safety critical processes fail to take their responsibilities seriously when it really counts, before disaster strikes. In the case of Railtrack, they lost their very licence to operate. What discussion will his department have with businesses in the energy sector to prompt them to review their corporate governance, to get a grip on their direct environmental responsibilities, instead of simply spouting the rhetoric of corporate social responsibility?
I thank my honourable friend for that question, which is a very acute and well-directed one. I think that there is an issue about, which may be one of the lessons that come out of the inquiry, about the extent of outsourcing. And that has certainly gone on apace in the oil and gas industry in terms of subcontracting, for example, to companies like Transocean. However, there is another side to it, and the other side is simply that the oil majors can argue that sometimes the level of expertise in a company like Transocean can actually be higher than any level of expertise that they have, precisely because, after all, it is operating so many rigs, contracting to so many oil majors. But this is something which is clearly going to be an issue for the investigation, and I think all of the big oil companies are going to be enormously more aware of the potential reputational damage that can be inflicted by an environmental disaster of this kind. And I think that they will take that on board, and I hope certainly that will provide an additional incentive to make sure that corporate governance is strengthened, and indeed the ethical dimension of corporate governance is strengthened.